and you were pretty for everybody? Posed with all these beautiful ladies?
Those are two very different questions. You want to sit over here with us?
Want me to? All right. Okay, audience, why don't you go first? You have a question for these darling and beautiful boys? Artie?
Yes, sir.
A huge part of directing is, I believe, is having a relationship with the actors and understanding what's required of them to do the job that they need to do, you know. And so that, I think that, honestly, I think that's my best gift as a director. And that's from, you know, from years and years and years of being on set every day. You learn what helped you and what didn't help you, and you see other people and you see what helped them and what didn't help them. And you know, one of the great things about directing Michelle is I know her so well. So I know exactly what to say to her to get what I want. You know, there's a scene at the end of Leaving Barstow where she's dissolved in tears on the floor, and she's, we shot that, we shot it, and we had to shoot some more, and she was drying up. She was like, I don't have it anymore, it's gone. But I still needed more footage, so I just went over to her and I sat down on the floor beside her, and I just whispered in her, I was like, Vince Tony's never coming. And she burst into tears. I was like, fucking damn it!
That was very Hitchcock of you, Peter. So I locked her in a closet till she cried.
Basically, I was just like, I know where to hit you. And so I got the shot, you know. So I was like, sorry. But
Maybe he's coming.
So anyway, it was our first book, absolutely is where I learned how to do it.
I know I say this both times you've been on my show, I've said this, but you are one of my favorite directors in the whole world. I mean, I think both of your films are, I'd say Uncle and Leaving Barstow are so brilliant. And I tell Michelle this almost every time that I see her on the studio that I think that's her best performance ever in anything.
I agree. I don't mean to take credit for that. She's brilliant in that.
I think it's every good as any actress has ever done in anything. I
agree.
it's
I
that
think she's
good.
brilliant in it. She should have won. She won some awards for it.
She should have won.
She should have won
an Oscar for it.
She
I tell you that all the
I
time.
agree.
It's that good.
She, it's so funny. She saw that movie the first time. I remember bringing her over to watch it, and she watched it. And she got really weird and quiet afterwards. And I was like, "What's going on with you, honey?" Because I think she's so brilliant in the movie. And I was like, "What? Are you unhappy with something?" And she was like, "Am I a monster?" And I said, what are you asking me? And she was like, well, you wouldn't let me act in that movie. And so I'm not acting, but that woman's a fucking monster. And I said, oh, no, baby, we tricked you. And I said, we tricked you. I said, I spent 3 weeks getting you into that space. I said, I spent 3 weeks just fucking with your head until you were that woman, so you didn't have to act it when you came to set every day. And she was like, but it's really true. She just doesn't act at it at all, and that role was full of traps, and she doesn't fall into one of them.
How many of you have seen Leaving Barstow? Yeah, it is so your homework, all of you, to get it as soon as you get home, because it is just a brilliant film.
It's a really beautiful. Thank you so much.
No, absolutely brilliant. Now, what can you tell everybody about the Fosters while we're talking about how amazing you are?
Well, I am amazing. The Fosters, for those of you, I mean, I feel like most people already know, but it's a TV show on ABC Family, Monday nights at 9, just started last week. It's about a lesbian couple raising multiple teenagers, one of whom's biological, 2 adopted, and some foster children. And I'm really, really, really proud of the show. It's sort of about family and secrets and the ways we choose to take care of each other.
And about the sort of what we're the new American family.
Yeah.
What we consider family now.
Yeah, it's absolutely. That was one of the reasons we wanted to do it.
People have always had families that weren't what we traditionally consider families.
Sort of
but you didn't
nuclear
see
biological.
it.
Right.
And on TV it was always everyone's related to everyone. And that's not how most people's families are.
Yeah. Certainly, I mean, and certainly not queer people. I mean, that's the
Sure.
simple truth is we choose our families for all sorts of reasons. And And that idea is very special to me, the idea of a creative family. People, I have lots of different families. I feel like this is my Queer as Folk family is a real thing.
Sure.
But also, my two best friends are my best friends from college. We've been best friends for 25 years, and I absolutely consider them family. They're not. There is no form of the word friend that really does justice to their role and purpose and power in my life.
Well, I love the stories of how all the Queer as Folk fans have become family to each other.
That's
And
good.
travel together, hang out
really a
together,
beautiful
just
thing.
from the love of Queer as Folk.
And that was something, when it was still on the air that was so lovely about the show was that, and it just doesn't happen much anymore, that people would gather. People didn't watch that show alone. They met in bars, they met in each other's homes. I mean, it was a show that people felt the need to be part of the community while they watched it when it was first airing. And that was something we were really touched by and really proud of as well. And it's sad that for the most part, doesn't occur much anymore with television. People just kind of take things, and that series, that thing of like Sunday nights at 10 o'clock, people got together, and people, still recorded things back then, but there was something about this show that people liked to watch. They didn't want to wait till the next day and have anything ruined, and they would
I loved hearing stories about people who would watch at bars, and they would be like, we go to the bar, and there'd be some drunk idiot who didn't know what was going on, who just stumbled into the bar, and would be like, talking to his friends, and they'd be like, you need to shut the fuck up.
Well, I went with, Dan and Ron, our producers, and Pancho Mansfield, was our executives at Showtime, and we went to Rage, the bar Rage, up on Santa Monica Boulevard, and I went in disguise. I just had some glasses and a baseball hat on, and it ended up being the S&M episode in season 1. But it was this amazing experience, especially for being theater people, because it was, it was very rowdy. The bar was very rowdy, and 10 o'clock came along, and it just went shh, quiet, and everyone just sat there with their beer, and they had a huge screen up, and it was like being amongst the groundlings at Shakespeare time or something, and everyone was just like, and talking to the screen and things, and it was an amazing experience. It was like watching myself in a play while it was going on, and their response and their experience was so visceral, and so, it was really amazing, and just that group experience that they were sharing, and the laughter and the screaming of things that outraged them. So I think it was unique, and starting that kind of family experience bonding stuff happened even back then. I think
It was like seeing a Tyler Perry movie.
Yes.
Or not.
You were Medea.
Question for anyone? For Scott or Peter? Anybody? Am I not seeing hands? In the back, in the blue?
In the back.
Because I'll just keep asking questions, but I'd like for them to.
I did see Lady Clark's show and I loved it.
Yay!
I saw it at the festival. I really enjoyed the Fosters. Are your writing duties going to keep you from directing any episodes on this?
No, I'll direct. Should we get a back 10? I'll direct in that back 10. They're just. It was the beginning. It was my first time being an EP, an executive producer on something. That job is a really full-time job, and the learning curve was very, very steep. So I wisely opted not to sort of press my luck and insist on directing one of the first 10. So, but I will direct at some point.
Okay.
I promise.
I'll wait for the news of that.
Questions? Kirsten?
I don't know if I asked this one because everything is so sorry about that if I have. But if I was your guest in LA, what one place would you take me to and why?
I think my favorite, kind of LA tourist experience. There's lots of really great ones. Cinespia, seeing a movie at the Hollywood Park Cemetery is an amazing, uniquely LA kind of thing. But I think I would take you to the Griffith Observatory. It is so iconic, and so you're literally where they shot Rebel Without a Cause. It's there, and then you can see the entire city from there, and it's in and of itself, it's an experience. And then just looking down at all of Hollywood and all the way out through Beverly Hills and Century City to Santa Monica and the ocean. There's just something so extraordinarily, uniquely LA about that vantage point.
I agree. I give usually, when friends come to town, I do a whole driving tour. that I keep having to change and expand because I discover something new. I mean, the city is a very unique place. It's different than any other city than I've ever been in terms of it having so many personalities. It's kind of schizophrenic, but I mean, and Griffith Observatory is part of it as well, but I love downtown LA also, especially the streets that were there back in the 20s. I like finding the places that go back to kind of as far as the history here goes, which is only really to the 1920s in a lot of ways, but I love exploring downtown for some reason.
This guy is a very good tour guide, I will say. You're a much better tour guide than I am. I'm like, good luck.
Here's the Yahoo map to the Griffith Observatory. And
Exactly.
goodbye.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's nice to kind of see like how the city expanded from that downtown area to Hancock Park, which was the original Beverly Hills before they kicked the Jews out and the Jews went out and formed Beverly Hills, and and you kind of see how the city kind of spread out in all these different ways. To me, it's kind of endlessly fascinating. And Adam Newman, who used to work on our show too, he's a wonderful, he knows all these hidden architectural gems. Yeah, so there's a lot of fun things to explore. I don't know if I could pick one thing because there's so many different things I like, and then the food too. So good.
So good. I had dinner at Eames the other night. Have you eaten at Eames? It's so good. It's so good. It's one of the best meals I've ever had. It was astounding.
Can we go after this?
No, we have dinner.
All right.
We can go another time.
All right.
No,
Okay.
freaking
Thank you, Kim.
Do you have a question? Yeah.
My question was, your wife introduced two actresses that you really were talking to, because I know both of them, and they're both amazing, but I want to know what your takes are.
We had written these characters. They were just voices in my head, really. And there were just certain qualities we thought they fundamentally needed. And Terry Polo had been, she was one of those people, like, when they said she was coming in to read, I was like, Terry Polo's coming in to audition? I'm like, Terry Polo's a movie star. Why is she coming in to read for me? But I'm so glad she did, because I would have been like, I don't know, I'm not sure she has this in her. But something about playing this dyke cop just gave her permission to be her whole complete self, and she just brings kind of every fiber of her being to it. And we knew the second we heard it, we were like, that's our staff. And then Sherry read for us and then came in and tested against three other actresses. And there was just something undeniable about her in that role. I mean, first of all, she's exquisite to look at. I mean, it's ridiculous. She's ridiculous. I mean, she is the next model, and there's a reason. Like, I look at her face, and I'm just like, hi. What do you want? I don't care. Hi. But also she had just this wonderful, warm, but like just enough prickly in her to like make me believe she was a school administrator and make me believe she would take these kids in. And then they read together, and their chemistry was through the roof. And they're totally in love. They both talk all the time about it's the best chemistry they've ever had with any co-star, and so.
When you were writing it, did you have people in mind while you were writing the character?
I don't write for like actors' voices. I definitely write for these weird characters that kind of appear in my head. But as I was writing for this voice in my head, I did have some actors kind of pop in, and I thought, oh, who'd be really good in this? Do you know Diane Farr? Do you know Diane Farr? Diane Farr was somebody I thought of for Steph, and Gabrielle Union was who I was thinking of for. And Gabrielle, I looked at the sample, so that was fun. And then Gabrielle got a pilot like days before we started casting. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, you did well. You got it.
Yeah.
Is it hard, Peter? Because when you write, I mean, you're sort of the first actor to play every one of those roles as you're writing.
That's all I'm doing.
And then you have to put real people in them.
Yeah.
And then with different faces than sometimes what you envision in your head.
Yeah, but it's never the faces that are the problem for me. I mean, occasionally, but most of the time when I'm watching an actor inhabit the role, it really is about the sort of do you have the guts of this character? Are you pushed and pulled by the same things that I'm going to want to explore with this person? You know what I mean? And quite frankly, on the Fosters, the big question is, are you fucked up enough to live in this world? Like, because that's what the show's about. The show's about like how we're all fucked up and how we're gonna screw up and step on each other's toes and hurt each other's feelings and apologize for it and try to grow and try to get better and keep going on. That's what the show's about. So if you don't have that, if you're not in touch with that, if you're trying to show me something or put some sort of facade on that isn't about kind of what what makes you if you're gonna then you're not enough of a muse for me.
Yeah, right.
I like it.
If you could guest star it, every show past or present, would you be
Like a guest direct any show past or present. That is
You should guest direct or guest star.
guest direct. I think she said direct, right?
Odds to the guest star.
You do guest star. You do guest star.
Yeah, you're gonna guest star. You want to
I'll make up my own question.
What show do you want to guest star on? Any show, past or present.
Oh, I'd love to be on Sopranos. I would love to.
See, there you go. That's a good one.
To get
Just
killed.
get your fucking head
God, just
like
be
a garage door.
Just be like, Tony, I was going to pay you back.
Scott, you'd be great on Walking Dead.
You can see how why he never was on The Sopranos.
No, Scott, you would be great on
Don't worry, I'll pay you back. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I would be good on
You would be
Walking
great on
Dead.
The Walking Dead because you have a beautiful look of surprise. And so if they cut to that look and they cut to 50 zombies wandering towards you, it would be like it was meant to be.
What show to direct? Do you know what's so weird? I don't think of directing that way. I actually just sincerely don't have an answer to that question. I love TV, but when I watch TV, I'm not thinking about directing. I'm thinking about storytelling. When I watch movies, however, I think about direction. And more, I read a script and I go, where is my connection to this material? Is it as a director? Is there a visual component to it? Or is it as a story I want to tell? Or is it as a character I want to inhabit? You know what I mean? So I'm sorry I don't have a very good answer for the question.
You were both wonderful on Bones.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In your
Scotty
movie.
in particular.
Scott, well, every time Scott I see you, my first question is always, why aren't they making you a regular on Bones? Because I love that character.
They practically did.
Yeah, they tried. It's tough to bring him back. He only loves feet, and there's not as many crimes involving just feet anymore these days.
There could be a spin-off called Foot Bump.
Another podiatric murder. Who are we gonna call?
You know what? I swear to God, that's where procedural TV is headed. It's like
That's
not that far off from Grey's Anatomy Private Practice.
That's true.
I mean, really,
That's
Toes.
Toes in a
Toes.
series.
Exactly. There's not a good show about feet.
That's true.
There needs to really be one.
They're very important.
But you bring such a beautiful kind of compression to him. You really do believe that at any moment he's going to have an aneurysm. And you're such a mellow guy.
Exactly.
Life imitating imitating art.
Questions, girls? In the end?
Before you got famous, who did you like we all want to come to see you. So who before you were famous, who made you go,
All my like, it's so embarrassing and so gay of me, but like all the people who really turn my crank like are in order. It's Emma Thompson, Meryl Streep, and Shirley MacLaine. Like just gay. But those are the performances. Those are the things that just make me bananas.
I was me was like Jack Lemmon, Peter Sellers.
You're very Jack Lemmon. I think that's.
You are very Jack Lemmon.
He was one of those who, like, when he passed away, I really had a moment of mourning and regret. That was one guy I was really hoping to get to work with one day. And in fact, when I had in my things I brought from LA when we first got up to Toronto to hang in my trailer and kind of as motivation, I found on eBay. I don't even know how I found this on eBay. I found a picture of Jack Lemmon while he was shooting The China Syndrome, sitting on an apple box. Did you ever see this? Sitting on an apple box off camera. I don't know who he's doing a scene with, but he's acting with him, and you could just see from the picture he's just giving it his all. He's acting his ass off, and he's next to the camera. He's not even on camera, and there's something in that picture that just captured him and captured, kind of what I believe in terms of, being there for your.
I don't know that I got that off camera.
But
Hey, where's Scott?
no, yeah, I'll have my hand.
Did you check the Apple box?
Exactly. No, I never got to meet. Did you get to meet any of your gay icons?
Well, I had to run out of the room when Meryl Streep.
Oh, that's right.
I could. I really, truly. That was the weird.
Out of
It's
the
the
bar.
weirdest feeling.
Out of
I was
the
like,
brownie.
there is no version of this story that ends well except me leaving.
And now that you have a
Steve.
Hi.
I'm on a TV show. Hi. You're amazing.
Well, thank you, Peter. That's all she says. That's my imitation of Meryl Streep. Thank you, Peter. Is that good?
Meryl Streep's gonna play that in her next movie. She's gonna do you doing her.
I should say I'll give myself a bit of a plug in some ways too. You know, I've always loved great character actors. They're always who I've been drawn to from back from all of Frank Capra's films. How he used to use all the same kind of character actors. Thomas Mitchell and Beulah Bondi, all these great character actors. And I'm starting a podcast fairly soon called Characters, where I'm going to be interviewing a lot of the great character actors that we know. So all these people who you know their faces and you've seen them literally in 100 films, but you haven't known Stephen Tobolowsky, Bruce McGill, hopefully my old neighbor.
Bruce McGill.
Yeah, he's going to be my first
George
one.
Pickle.
Yeah.
George Pickle.
That's Bruce.
Oh no, that's
Bruce
Bruce
Gray.
That's Bruce Gray.
Bruce McGill played D-Day
That's
in
awkward.
Anwar. But maybe I'll get him too.
Yeah.
But anyway, but that kind of thing. I mean, I love those kind of guys who just are out there and working all the time, and so just
Eddie
kind of
Jemison.
to get their stories. My friend Eddie Jemison, people like that. So those are the people I really generally charge. Hi everybody, welcome.
Hi, everybody. Come take a seat.
We're still
Question in the back, Lynn?
We're still not Gail and Randy. What? What happened?
My 15-year-old granddaughter is in a performing arts high school, and she's thinking about a career in acting. I was just wondering if you have any bits of advice for her, or
Don't. Don't. Find something.
It is, I will say this, it's an incredibly tough time to break into the business. It's worse, way worse than we were doing it 15 years ago, way worse. The main thing I would say is develop skills to create your own work. There is no excuse in this day and age not to be shooting things for YouTube and making little movies with your friends on your phones. That is where people get discovered now. We got discovered literally a whole way that doesn't exist anymore. So really, that's the thing. Like, don't wait for anyone's permission.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about the internet, right? Is that now you can create your own stuff. You can make your
Yeah.
own web series. You can make your own short films and enter them in film festivals.
It's
and
really
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, I look
You're
back
building
at
a resume.
Yeah, the things we did. I'm sure you did the same silly things as kids with like old Sony tape shows, and you know, like what kids can do from when they're teeny up to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really remarkable. the
But
way-
and that's
way
really
they-
the only way you hear about people kind of breaking into the business now.
Mhm.
There's just no. It used to be, you know, a long time ago the studios would groom you, and then it became the agencies that would groom you, and then it was managers that would groom you, and then it was networks that would groom you, and now there's nobody. They want somebody who already comes with 100,000 Twitter followers. You know, they want somebody who's already commodified in some way, and so they can exploit it. So it is brutal out there. Right?
And there is, I mean, I will say that there is still some value, I think, in, you know, if you have a good theater training and you go to New York and have a good deal of success there, working your way up. I think there's still a way to kind of get into things through that. I don't know if through regional theaters and things like that, but I think if you have a degree of success in New York in theater, even people I know who might get into their 50s who haven't had much success in film and television end up getting, you know, if they get some notice there. So it can still happen through theater, but what Peter's saying is very, very true.
Even if you go to Juilliard, build your Twitter followers.
Yeah.
For real.
Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of amazing actors in our country sitting around not working because they have 2 people that follow them on Twitter.
Right.
Now, is it easy for the 2 of you to build Twitter followers because of Queer as Folk? Well, obviously Peter now because of the Fosters.
It helps. It helps. I still don't have that many. I'm still, you know, not compared to. One of the kids on my show has 800,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know, and Jennifer Lopez, who's an EP of my show, has 19 million.
Wow.
She's general.
You're getting there. You'll get there, kids. One day, you'll get there, kid. I believe in you.
Shonda Rhimes tweeted me the other day.
I saw that. That was wonderful. See?
Scott, how about you?
I
I
had
had work Twitter and Facebook.
I tried to work it. I had a very humbling experience the other day. A friend of mine, an old friend of mine from Chicago, an actor named Jim O'Hare, who's wonderful, who's on Parks and Recreation now, and he was one of those. He plays Jerry, kind of the heavy-set, the lumpy guy, and he's a wonderful actor. And he got on Twitter at a time, and he was kind of like Robert, same kind of way. What is this Twitter thing? And I kind of helped coach him through it. And around the time I was getting very excited that I was getting near 5,000 followers, I was very excited about that. And Jim sent me a tweet that was very funny. I was like, let me see how Jim's doing that again. Oh, 54,000 followers.
What happens when you're actually on
So yes,
TV?
when you're actually on TV, it's a little. It's a
I know, I'm
little
annoyed that
bit
Twitter didn't start when we were actually on
yeah.
TV.
Well, we think about it. What was just starting, but in 2000, message boards were such this new thing. This kind of interaction with fans now was just starting, and and we got. I mean, I got burned. I think because we were so like, oh, well, what are they writing about me? Oh, don't ever take your shirt off again. Okay. I'm not gonna read these anymore.
I couldn't know why I read every fucking thing.
I couldn't do it. But it was also because it was also, all this stuff was each TV show's on DVD. What? No one would ever do that. So all this stuff, we kind of just were there at the start of it, but not with all this craziness. So it's difficult if you're not actively involved in a regular running television show or something like that. It's hard to build up those followers, or unless you're 12 or 13, like some of the actors in Peter's show. Where
They were on TV series.
Right, exactly. Yes.
Right, it'd be 12 or 13 and on television.
Yes,
exactly.
So that's what I'm getting.
Or J-Lo. But
I'm
Jennifer
hoping it's
Lopez,
13.
I think, was sort of a pioneer in branding herself. She was doing a beautiful job of branding herself, and we weren't even using that term yet.
Well, that's why I copied her and created Stolo.
Hello, for men.
You got to? Yeah.
You two are terrific. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Gene.